Okay, so doctorarjaybe here, and um, when I produce this video today, it's actually in July. May be released later in the year, but around this time of the year, a lot of people are going on vacation, and uh, so when you go on vacation, sometimes you might go to the beach, you might go to a forest preserve, you might be camping. So in general, you're exposed to the outdoor elements. And the question is, what can you do to protect yourself against any problems that might arise? Now, if you're going to the beach, you're probably going to be exposed to the sun. One of the important things is making sure you have enough sunscreen on. If you're going to be sitting out on the beach for 4 hours and you have no sunscreen, I can almost guarantee that you're going to have some sunburn. Um, and if your skin is fairer, it's going to be worse. Even if you have dark skin, you can still burn. It doesn't protect you 100%. So it's important to make sure that you have some sunscreen on. There's an SPF factor of about 30, which is recommended. There are sunscreens that are 50, even 100 I've seen. Generally, you don't have to worry about that. 30 is plenty. One SPF factor is the protection of the sun for about 15 to 20 minutes. So 30, you're talking about several hours. But even though 30 is supposed to last you forever, because of sweating, because of other factors, it's a good idea to reapply after a couple of hours. Now, another thing that you might be doing if you're going to the beach is going swimming. So, one of the things to think about is the fact that the waters that are in the lake or the ocean come from other places. Um, so, let's just say that there's some farmland near, and you have any kind of animals on that farm. Well, animals do not use the potty. Animals just go on the ground. What this means is that any bacteria that are in those excrements, when the rain comes, it washes those things down, go into the rivers, go into the groundwater. Eventually, it can find itself into the lakes or the ocean. What this means is that when you're swimming, you're maybe exposed to some bacteria that are in the water. Now, in general, people have done this for so long, and you don't hear tales that people went swimming in Lake Michigan and they all came out and they all died. So, we have natural defense mechanisms for bacteria, and they are very helpful for preventing these kind of things. For one thing, our skin is waterproof. Um, you can't pour a glass of water on your hand and drink it that way. Water just kind of rolls right off. So we have a barrier in our skin that protects us against things like bacteria and chemicals that can't get through our skin barrier. So that's one of our protections. And also, we have an immune system that chews up all these bacteria. So as long as there's not too many bacteria, generally you don't have to worry too much. But you want to limit your exposure. So the way to do that, when you're done with your swimming, go inside, take a shower, rinse out your bathing suit so that everything is clean. You rinse off any bacteria that might be on your skin. And this way, you don't have to worry about developing an infection. Um, Also, you might be going into the woods or camping, and you might be exposed to some other things like insects like mosquitoes. And mosquitoes can sometimes carry diseases like West Nile virus. And so you want to try to limit your exposure to these mosquitoes by using a good insect spray. Um, I can tell you that one time our family was vacationing in Minnesota, and we decided to go for a walk on a trail that was in this one forest. we wound up getting exposed to a cloud of mosquitoes because, as you know, Minnesota is the state with 10,000 lakes. Well, 10,000 lakes means 10,000, lakes that can grow mosquitoes. So we went through this walk, and we were exposed to a crowd of mosquitoes. Every one of us got bitten up. The next day, we were all sick. Um, and there was a West Nile outbreak at the time. We wound up with stomach ache and headache. I'm pretty sure that we all came down with this West Nile disease. Uh, it only lasted about a day or so, and we were fine after that. In general, a lot of these diseases, for the average person, don't cause too much trouble. But there are people who have died of West Nile disease. So limiting your exposure to mosquito is not a bad idea. Wear your insect spray to try to repel these insects so that they don't cause any harm. Um, Also, when you're out there, you might also be exposed to stinging insects like bees and wasps. Now, the average person doesn't have to worry too much, but some people can be allergic to these insects. In that case, those people should carry what we call an EpiPen, which is an injection that you can stab your leg with and try to limit the exposure to the allergen, and gives you enough time to be able to go see a doctor or the emergency room to be treated more aggressively. Um, so um, uh, uh, that's another thing to be concerned about. Of course, if you're walking in the woods, one common issue is poison ivy. Um, uh, so you kind of have to watch where you're stepping. Not everybody is allergic to poison ivy. Only 30% of the population is. So for many people, it doesn't even matter. I've gone jogging in the forest preserves and woods for a long time. I've come up against poison ivy many, many times. I'm just fortunate that I don't react to it. Um, uh, but like I said, I enjoy being outdoors, and I come across these plants. Fortunately, everything is okay thus far. So, for those of the people who are allergic, it's important to have a skin barrier, either long pants to cover, because most of the time the plants only go up about a foot high, so you want to cover the lower leg. The other thing, if it's too warm and you have to wear shorts, it's a good idea to put on some sort of a cream barrier on your skin. The only trick with that is that you have to make sure that you wash it off afterwards, because you still might get the oil in the cream that you have covering your skin. But if you wash that off, you wash off the oils that cause the reaction from the plant. And as long as, like I said, you don't leave it on too long, you probably are going to be fine with that cream barrier. So these are just some, recommendations for being outdoors when you're on vacation or whatever. And hopefully you don't have any problems. All right, take care.